So this is an interesting session. For anyone who's an entrepreneur here, he knows how interesting and important the relationship between an entrepreneur and the investor is. Not just because one is giving money and the other is taking money, but also because if this relationship works well, it adds so much value to the business. And if it goes, and if you don't get that extra value, it actually is something that turns out to be a handicap. So what we thought today we'd do was to get 3 entrepreneurs and 3 investors. And as it happens, the entrepreneurs and investors are all from different stages of investment. Some are very early stage. Some have been around for several years. Some have taken 1 round of funding. Some have taken 2 rounds of funding. So the way we'll structure this discussion is there are 2 objectives. One is to understand how the funding process itself panned out from both standpoints. Second, the post-funding engagement. How did the dynamics progress? Was it productive and constructive, or was it not? And so the way I'd like to run the session is I'd like each one of them to quickly take a couple of minutes to talk about first the investees or the entrepreneurs, what the fundraising experience was like, and what the post-fundraising engagement with the investor was. After that, I'd like our 3 investors here. Vishal Mehta is from Lok Capital. Sadish Raghavan is on the Global Investment Committee for Acumen. And we have Jeevan here, who's from United Seed Fund. I'd like them to then talk about their perspectives when they invest in a social venture. Let me complete the introductions here. We've got Vivek Kaushik, who runs a vocational service in the informal sector. We've got Samir, who runs a rural healthcare business on the devices and technology side. And we've got Puneet here, who's from Husk Power. It's in the renewable energy space, both by converting biomass and by using solar. Very interesting mix of verticals and stages of business. Let me set the ball rolling with Vivek. Vivek, Puneet, and Samir, set the ball rolling.
Hello. Yeah. My name is Vivek, and I represent a venture called Bodhi Cruise Services Private Limited. We are basically an employment and skill services company for those who are working in informal or unorganized sector of India. We started this venture in April 2011, and we spent almost 8 months in terms of getting this proof of concept right. And what we did exactly, we entered into entire value chain, right from the sourcing and informal worker, training, placement, and post-placement support. And initially, we targeted domestic workers, and then gradually, we also added security guards and health workers. Nowadays, we are in the process of digitizing this entire process from sourcing to placement using this web and mobile-based platform. So during this journey, when we started this Bodhi Crew, as I was telling you, that we spent almost 8 months in terms of getting this concept right. Then, like every entrepreneur, we also we started hunting for money. But I personally feel that when you are really going to raise money, what matters most is color of the money. What is it bringing with it? It's not only about money. Some of the people, they asked me this question also, that when you were raising money, did you have these things that how much to lose and all that? So those things are there, but one has to be very wise. It's not only about money, at least when you are coming up with a venture which is by itself is disruptive in nature. So you really need to have a patient capital with you. It's not like typical investors. While raising this money, it was really very exciting experience in terms of learning. I'm not a so-called serial entrepreneur. This is my first venture. And when we were going out in terms of raising money, it really gave us a lot of learning what actually investors ask, what kind of questions they ask. So ultimately, my learning from that is that if it is a disruptive idea, go for patient capital. This really helps a lot. Thank you.
Samir?
Sure. This is my first venture. I have been running it since 10 years. I have a mixed set of experiences with investors, right from the initial phase to now when we are trying to raise investment. we have had our initial investment, angel investment, coming in very quickly. It was probably because the problem was perceived, or the challenge was perceived hot. There were people who were willing to bet on it. There were people who wanted a solution. It would have helped certain other ecosystems and so on. We're talking of certain funds which came out of professors of IIT Chennai, and the Vishal Bharat Comnet, which is a Section 25 company, as well as the Venture East Tenet Fund, which was set up for social organizations to were very quick and helpful in investing into the company in the initial stages. However, one of the realizations that we had as we went along, when we tried to raise the Series 2 round, which was not very large, but was primarily due to the realization that what initial perceived way of solution of a particular challenge was no longer the perception which was present at that point of time. We had thought that developing technology alone would solve a lot of problems, and the channels would have already developed by then, which was a completely wrong perception. And we figured out that we need to sort of look at the entire ecosystem. And that was a really difficult time for raising the second round, and we still managed to get it, but we had to dilute quite a bit. Now we are at a stage, we are at a very interesting stage where we have started scaling since last 5 years. The company is profitable, the company is growing consistently, as I was mentioning also during the initial presentation. We have now the largest rural e-healthcare platform, and are generating returns, generating profits year on year, increasing those. Somehow we have great difficulty in raising capital. It's much more as compared to what it was in the first round or second round, where there was an initial perception that we will grow very quickly, 10-fold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold, and suddenly the return expectations of VCs don't seem to be matching what we are generating. And I really don't know whether the first choice of funds that we made as a VC was a right choice of kind of funding for what we were set out to do, or whether we should have chosen a more patient capital, or a more different kind of a capital, like probably a grant to develop technologies, and probably a debt kind of a funding later to sort of set up the business model and so on. So this is a mixed kind of an experience. No doubt that the VCs have come in initially with a lot of value add when they came in, because obviously people who were a part of angel investment had a lot more experience than us in the rural domain, and that was a very, very big advantage initially. But as we progressed during the path, we figured out that those experiences were a lot of times turned outdated and changed, and we had newer experiences which would actually be contrary to those, and the help which initially was very helpful was no longer really helpful, but a lot of times stumbling block. Because if you go according to those perceptions, you would most likely take a wrong call on something. And so increasingly we developed our own perceptions, but what we find is we are getting farther and farther away from the investment radars of typical VCs.
No, Sameer, that was really, really a candid opening comment. I'm sure investors on the panel will have things to add to that as we move along. Let me ask Puneet. Puneet has an interesting background. He was an investor before he started. He went over to the venture and began working on the other side. Puneet, what's your view on this whole thing about raising money and the post-raising engagement?
Before I kind of start off, one comment on what Sameer was saying. It's, it's always difficult for a social enterprise to prove its numbers. So, my suggestion always now on to any social enterprises, raise as much money as you can in your first round, because then fooling the investors with your projections will be difficult. So that's my first big learning. I think as, kind of switching sides, before kind of reflecting on that thought, the timing is the most critical thing, and understanding what kind of financing your enterprise needs at that point in time is also very critical. Because when we started off in 2008, and just within our first 6 months, we really won a lot of business plan competitions in the US. And that's where almost close to $500,000 came in just from business plan winnings. So it really kind of got us going in the first few 6-9 months. And then we had Shell Foundation as our grant partner, which really supported our vision and which understood the needs of the business. And kind of one word which people use a lot is investor preparedness. Because a social enterprise within its first 18 months, effectively, unless it's really kind of known everything about the business, is not really prepared to face the investors and the discussions on valuations and all those things. And a lot of people, are passionate about the cause, So they don't really understand those jargons like valuation multiples and everything, convertibles, and all those things. So I think it's important for you to be prepared before you get into that, phase of, kind of raising money from your investors, even if it means seed capital. That's one big learning. The second thing is, equity, since you're a very small enterprise, sometimes you're very reserved on how much money you want to raise. And it's very difficult to judge your growth patterns, especially in the early years. So I would say just when you're raising your first round of money, you should always have this basic maths in your mind that you're raising money today so that you don't want to raise it in the next 3 years at least, not for the next 3 years. And I think that's the basic maths you should do, before kind of raising your first round of capital. As an investor, I think as someone who came from that side, of the table, you always look for, basically financial sustainability is one key thing which you look for. And that's why, people kind of get into that projections game and, a sense of expectations and everything. And I think most of the investors even today, and I don't know how to kind of break out of that mold, but most of the investors, still have that multiple game in their mind, even while it's evaluating a social enterprise. And I'm not sure how do you really create a new metric? How do you really give, kind of, I would say, the benefit of a particular cause to that social enterprise? How do you really incentivize of someone working in a certain cause? So how do you really build on the quantitative side all those things? It's a very difficult task, but, when I came to the investee side, and while we were raising our Series A very recently, that's when I really learned. Because everyone, as an investee, you don't kind of, you feel that no one is really giving you that benefit of the work you are trying to do. You're compromising on margins and everything. Now, if everyone just evaluates you on multiples, then you basically not be a social enterprise. And I think that's the dilemma you get into. So I think I don't know how to break that mold, but that's something which social investors, increasingly need to kind of give a thought about.
So let's come to the investors now. Interestingly, United Seed Fund here invests very early stage when the plans are hardly beyond paper. Acumen is a bit further on. And then there is Lok, which typically invests slightly larger sums of money, if I'm not mistaken. So it'll be interesting to look at their perspectives across these various stages. Hopefully, it'll answer some of the concerns that Sameer had or Puneet had. Obviously, Vivek's had a very happy experience. So, Jeevan, if we may start with you. I know you have an investee company there. This is your chance to tell him if you don't like him at all. We're all there to support you.
No, I think I'm really glad Vivek's had a really good experience. But just a short, brief introduction about our fund. United Seed Fund is really focused on investing small sums of money in early stage companies. And we hope to make large volumes of investments and in the 100K to 200K range. And we're sector agnostic and looking for really interesting startups to invest in. Now, regarding the perspectives and in response to what the other entrepreneurs have shared is really it's not that you're raising money, but you're actually looking when a investee company or a company is raising money is when you raise money, you're really looking at a partner that's going to come into your firm. So the firm is going to be your own company will be supported by the VC for, it's not just getting the money, but also will be part of your journey. So it's very important to realize that you select the right kind of investor and the kind of investors that you like to work with. This is very important and highly underrated in terms of, the priorities, among the priorities that the companies raising money have. And then another point that Puneet raised is important to understand that VC cannot think of a multiples kind of game. I think it's very important to realize that not all businesses, whether it's social or not, are suited for venture capital investment. So some businesses are not, and some businesses are. And then again, the major point being that you need to raise the investor and the kind of capital that suits you, which is very important. And post investment engagement, it's really not an engagement. It's not that we have a choice, right? I think we want to support our entrepreneurs. We are trying to build businesses here. I mean, if we would not support and engage our entrepreneurs and portfolio companies, and then what is the work that we're doing? So we are here, and our perspective is that we want to help entrepreneurs, and that's really the goal of a fund and in general. That's it.
Satish?
Let me add to what has been said so far. A little bit of qualifier two counts. One is just in terms of my background. I not only work on the investment committee within Acumen on a voluntary basis, but I also independently do angel investing and also work with a number of other investment firms in this space, including some of the guys here. So my comments take it in the context of a broader perspective, because there are all shades of colors here, and you find all kinds of different behaviors and expectations. Now, on the investment side, I think a key thing to keep in mind for those of you who are entrepreneurs here, for the firms that are in this space, coming into this space with a fund that they have and are looking to invest, a primary objective I believe they would all share is they're looking for enterprises that have the potential to scale and be sustainable, as opposed to a lifestyle business. So I highlight that qualifier because a social enterprise can eventually end up in three places. One is they disappear. Hopefully that doesn't happen to any of you. The other is they become a lifestyle business that an individual plus friends and family run, could be small, could be of somewhat good size. Or the third is they are significantly scaled. In the Indian context, maybe pan-India, serving millions of customers. And it's the third category that the investor is looking at. And keep in mind the other point, which is if you are early stage, presumably you have done some piloting, you've got a little bit of proof of concept, maybe not. So there's a lot of hypotheticals in terms of what the scalability potential is, and that's being assessed, right? So the investor is coming from a perspective of, is this truly a scalable business? So a lot of the questions and conversations are around that. Now, if you have gone past the early stage and you're a little bit in revenue generation, you've got customers, then the investor is actually asking questions to validate, what your hypothesis was when you started the business. You had a hypothesis that it would grow, it would scale. So the investors are asking questions like, have you shown, show me where you think this is happening, and if you then therefore do this and this, it's really going to scale, right? So a lot of the discussion is around that. And of course, if you're a later stage, you've probably proven your model, then it's a different kind of issue. It's a question of you need money to get into so many different locations. So keep the sustainability point in mind, because I think that sets the context of whether you qualify or not to go for an investor who is running a fund and looking to invest. Because if you're going to be a lifestyle business, then there's also sources of funding, but probably not a fund that is looking to invest. Now, the other thing about working with the entrepreneurs, I think in the social space, unlike in the top of the pyramid, the cycle time from idea to being at scale, in my experience, is a lot longer. And for a lot of reasons, a lot to do with figuring out how it is you're going to crack the problem, figuring out whether it's just technology, it's something else, you need a lot of processes. In the Indian context, I would say there's a huge amount of friction that you need to get around, right? Either fix it or find models that overcome that friction. So there are multiple issues that need to happen, and therefore the cycle time is longer. Now, the reason I raise that point, which is probably obvious to all of you as entrepreneurs, is if I'm sitting on the investor side, what does that mean? That means, therefore, as an investor, I cannot have the same expectation as a normal VC that in so many years, I'm going to get a return of whatever that I would get in the top of a pyramid company. So the concept that was highlighted here, patient capital, is critical. Patient capital means, in simple terms, there is patience in terms of the duration at which you would then get your capital back. So this is a key thing, and it translates by default into lower returns. Return expectations are lower, right? Now, Acumen, just a little bit of context, has got two kinds of funds within Acumen. One is a pure philanthropic fund, where whatever returns are generated are plowed back into the fund. There's no capital that's given back to the investors or the people who have donated money. It's a philanthropic fund, so they're all donations that come in. The second kind of fund is a normal impact fund, which actually gives a return back to the investor. Now, if you look at these two categories of funds, which exist also in the broader context in the world, the first category, obviously the return expectation is much lower. Therefore, you can do more early stage and seed stage funding. The second category of fund where there is some return expectation would tend to then go for the later stage kind of business. So keep that in mind as you're an entrepreneur. So when you talk to the investors, try to suss out where in the spectrum of investing they sit. Are they patient capital? Are they social space investors, or are they normal VCs? To give you a sense of, are you talking to the right party? Are you a lifestyle business, or are you a scalable business? Keep those few variables in mind.